letting me need to use either yours or Kimmy. Sometimes we're the mini.
I know. It's nice to see enough smiling faces looking back at you.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שמרחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שמרחים גם יחד. Try that with us. הנה מה טוב. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שמרחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שמרחים גם יחד. How good it is. How good it is. How sweet it is. How sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is. How good it is. How sweet it is. How sweet it is to be together on this day. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שמרחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שמרחים גם יחד. שלום עליכם, סלום עליכום. שלום עליכם, סלום עליכום. שלום עליכם, סלום עליכום. שלום עליכם, סלום עליכום. How good it is. How good it is. How sweet it is. How sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is. How good it is. How sweet it is. How sweet it is to be together on this day. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שמרחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שמרחים גם יחד. שבת אחים. שבת אחים גם יחד. שבת אחים גם יחד.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat
So good to be here with everybody. I'm Kavod Weider. I'm the rabbi here, and with Cantor Natalie Young and Kim Gubner, Carol Roman on the keys, and Evan Wool on the drums. We're going to be your Shabbat guides for this first Friday. Every first Friday, we have a outdoor service like this, and we really do this in the spirit of how the whole Kabbalat Shabbat was created. It was really only created in the 16th century, this service of welcoming Shabbat, and it was done outside, coming out and being under blue sky and trees, because there's an essential aspect of Shabbat that's about joy. It's about joy and aliveness, not joy as an emotion that you can go up and down, but a more of a perception of reality, that everything is alive, everything is singing, and we may be caught into our own minds and our own heads and all the things that we have to do, but if we were to take a second and stop and open up, we could feel the joy. We could feel the aliveness. And so I really welcome you to enjoy the celebration tonight. If you're new to Temple Bethel, welcome. And if you need to use a restroom, go to the end of the building. There are some doors at the end there, and that's where you'll find it. Any cell phones you have, please make sure that they are on silent or vibrate, something like that. And if you're tuning in online, we're so glad that you're with us here, and you are with us celebrating. It is our great pleasure also this Shabbat to be celebrating the bat mitzvah of Isabella Sellen. And so I want to invite Isabella and her family to come up and lead us in the lighting of candles. Come on up. And you'll notice that, and may be aware of the custom of kind of after the candles are lit, waving the light, closing the eyes and waving the light and covering the eyes. And there are a few different reasons for why we do that. But one reason that I want to invite you to is to let yourself enter into a holy space. You cover your eyes. Reality is not as we know it. You open up to what is the vision of the most beautiful world that you can be in, and then open up and see it in here. So I want to invite everybody to stand. So first light the candles.
Ru ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lecha lekner l'chel Shabbat.
And the world looks different. You can see with Shabbat eyes. You may be seated. If you have a prayer book, and there are prayer books that are right over in the rack right there, this is one of the Psalms of Shabbat. It's on page 15, third line from the bottom.
Romemu, 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 Adonai, Eloheinu. Try that with us. Romemu, 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 Adonai, Eloheinu. One more time. Romemu, 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 Adonai, Eloheinu. Ishtachavu yadom raglav. Kadosh hu Adonai Eloheinu. Ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Here we go. Romemu, 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 Romemu,
Find Lecha Dodi on page 18. Come, my beloved, let's greet the bride. Who's the bride? Shabbat is the bride, the experience of wholeness, of peace inside that we're welcoming into our space.
Lecha Dodi,
Lecha
Dodi, לקראת כלה, פני שבת, נקבלה. Lecha Dodi, לקראת כלה, פני שבת, נקבלה. שמור וזכור בלימוד אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ותפארת ולתפארת. Lecha Dodi, לקראת כלה, פני שבת, נקבלה. Lecha Dodi, לקראת כלה, פני שבת, נקבלה.
Stand last verse, page 19.
בואי ושלום, עצרת פלה, גם בשמחה ובצהולה. תוכן בנייה סגולה, בואי כלה. Lecha Dodi, לקראת כלה, פני שבת, נקבלה. Lecha Dodi, לקראת כלה, פני שבת, נקבלה. לי, 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 לי.
So, want to ask you to keep standing for a moment. The flip side of joy is connection. And some of us right now are here because we're mourning the loss of a loved one. Samantha, Jennifer, and all those who have a yahrzeit this evening, whether you're online in your home or whether you're here, want to say to you, Hamakom Yenachem Etchem, may the Holy One comfort you, and feel the strength of connection as we hold each other in love and in sacred community. We're now going to enter into the main body of the service together with Baruch Hu, and it's traditional to face east, to face towards Jerusalem, towards the wall, towards the center of where our people and holiness came forward for thousands of years. So east is this way, and want to encourage you to turn and feel that pull. Page 23. You may be seated. Page 26. The great spiritual master, the Maggid of Mezrich, when asked where to find God, said, wherever you let God in. And we can find God in other people, inside of ourselves, but we can also find it in everything around us, in creation, in the life of it all. Page 26.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidbaro mariv anavim b'chokhmah poteach shirim. God of creation, who makes the evening fall from light into darkness with the setting of the sun. You unfold the heavens with brilliant moon and stars and wrap our souls with peace. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidbaro mariv anavim b'chokhmah poteach shirim. Baruch atah Adonai Mariv Anavim.
Jason, can I have you join me up here? I know that you know the Shema. We're going to do the Shema together tonight. And we're going to use some sign language. So if you don't know this, we're going to learn this together, okay?
Page 29.
You remember the words? So the words are right here. So I'm going to ask everyone to bring your hands by your face. We've been talking about Shema not just meaning listen, but to pay attention. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Hashem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. All right,
Page
Isabella,
31.
come on up.
ואהבת את
Adonai Elohecha bechol levacha
ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשיטתך בביתך ובלתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם מאוד על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך ובטחתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohechem Emet. Beautiful job, Isabella. So every service, morning and evening, we get transported back to the moment when the Israelites had crossed through the Red Sea and they were singing in joy, that feeling of freedom, of liberation, a way to try to tap us into that original feeling. And Debbie Friedman wrote a beautiful song that pictured that moment using the Micha Mocha inside of it. I want to invite you to turn to page 137. You're going to go all the way ahead, and you'll see the Micha Mocha on one side, and then Miriam's song and the women on the second side. So invite you to come back to that moment at the sea.
And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women dance and dance the whole night long. And Miriam was a weaver of unique variety. The tapestry she wove was one of which are century. With every thread and every strand she crafted her delight. A woman touched by spirit, she dances toward the light. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women dance and dance the whole night long. As Miriam stood upon the shores and gazed across the sea, the wonder of this miracle she soon came to believe. Whoever thought the sea would part with an outstretched hand, and we would pass to freedom and march to the promised land. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Woo! Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women dance and dance the whole night long. And Miriam the prophet took her timbrel in her hand, and all the women followed her just as she had planned. And Miriam raised her voice with song. We've just received a miracle. We're gonna dance all night. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Woo! Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women dance and dance all night long. Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai, micha mocha ne'edar b'kodesh, Torah tehilot osei feleh, Torah tehilot osei feleh. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long.
You can go ahead and turn back to page 39. And Cantor Young and I had the wonderful blessing of a Beit Din earlier, which was a new member of our tribe, came into our tribe. Somebody converted to Judaism this morning. And one of the things that she was sharing, which I think even many of us who are born Jewish feel the same kind of thing, is, I consider myself spiritual but not religious. Meaning, this whole idea of God and praying and services doesn't really speak to me as much. I feel this sense of connection in life, in people, in all of it. And so much of the way that a lot of us were raised, this idea about God as being something that's out there, sometimes keeps us from connecting with what's in our hearts and what's in our tradition. And if we could have what my teacher, Rabbi David Zeller, says is have a dogma scraper. Imagine having a little tool that you could take whatever kinds of things that you fill in about the word God that distances you and scrape it away and open to the presence in the moment of where we see justice in the world, where we experience kindness, where healing comes. And we start to feel that this mystery that we call God weaves into our lives in the most natural and beautiful ways. So when we sing Hashkivenu, lay me down, God, in peace and wholeness, and stand me up with life, spread over a shelter of your peace, of your wholeness, I want to invite you to think about that we're inviting our awareness of each other, of the way that we stand each other up in life, the way that we help comfort each other. And so this prayer is about opening to that in others and being a blessing for that ourselves. Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamidenu shomreinu
L'chaim.
l'chaim
Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim.
L'chaim, to life.
So if there are any other smaller people, I see one in the back here. If you want to come over with your dad and be in front here, we have a little story. Get a little more engaged. Please feel free. You can come together. You can sit on the grass right here if you'd like. Because I want to tell you the story about a king. And this king had the most beautiful palace, and he was looking for, there was one room in his palace, a magnificent, huge room, but there was nothing on the walls. There was no art. he wanted to have something beautiful. And so he thought, I'm going to send out to all the artists in the land a contest. If you can create the most beautiful paintings, you will get a reward beyond measure. So out of all of the people that submitted their wonderful paintings, he chose 2. And they came and they set up all of their equipment. One artist had one wall, the other artist had the other wall. And the king said, you have 1 year to paint a painting that is fitting for my palace here. And you can use whatever colors, whatever things you need. And so one artist started, and he had his assistants, and he got right to work. And in the first month, he had sketched out designs, and they had built scaffolding for the painting. And the second artist just sat day after day, kind of looking up at the blank wall with kind of a strange look on his face. And the first artist, 2 months, he had already started. He was already he had some great vision and design for a most beautiful scene that had symbols that were important to the king. And in 3 months, 4 months, they were on it, and he was painting. And the second artist, day after day, he would just sit and look up, kind of looking at the wall with this strange look on his face. And it went on, and finally, the year came to a close, and the first artist was putting the finishing touches on the piece, and it was magnificent. It had everything. It showed such brilliance and artistry and ingenuity and creativity, and was just putting the finishing touches. And as you can expect, the second artist just looking up at the blank wall. And so finally, the first artist finished, and he looked at the second artist with the blank wall, and they both left. Well, in the morning, the king came, and he said, both of you can sit out. So he came in, and he looked at he looked at one side, and he saw the first artist's beautiful painting, and he was just awed. Wow, incredible. He felt the brilliance, the work, the commitment, the time. And he looked over at the other wall, and he saw the same painting, except he was in it. He saw the same painting, but he was in it. And as soon as, he kind of comes over here, and he has suspects, and he touches it, and it's smooth like glass, and he realized what's happened. The second artist just put mirrors along the whole side of the second wall, showing the exact picture with the king in it. And the first, artist is looking at that, and he's upset and enraged. Look, I spent all this time, all this work, put this in, and he just puts this in copies. And in the center of the room, the king has this big pile of gold, and he looks at the artist, and he says, "Well, they're both beautiful. You have both won the reward." And the first artist said, "What? You both won? I worked so hard, and you just put up a mirror?" And the king says to the first artist, he says, "Please take this gold, go out, share your gifts with the kingdom, put everything you have, teach, share. Thank you so much. You've made me so happy. You've enriched my life with your art." And the second artist, who's kind of sitting there looking a little bit relieved and feeling a little smug about it, and he says, "You also have this reward of the gold, but the gold that you see in the mirror." Which is really not really the gold at all. And the artist says, "But I had the same." He said, he said to him, "You create the illusion of what somebody else created. You try to aspire to be like somebody else instead of being yourself. And that's going to be the reward that you're going to take home, which is going to be just an image of what you could be or what you could have. And please leave my kingdom." And he sent him away. And so this story really, so much of us in so many ways, we see other people around us and we want to be like them. Beautiful birds. We see people around us and we want to be like them. We see images of success and we say, only if I could only do that, if I can only be that, then I would be happy, I would be successful. But as long as we're pursuing somebody else's image of who they are instead of finding our own gifts, our own way of shining in the world, then all we're going to have is a reward that's an illusion in a mirror instead of being able to give the gift of who we really are into the world. Shabbat Shalom. At this point, we're going to share a healing prayer, Misha Berach, and that's an opportunity for all of us, whether we're tuning in remotely or whether we're here together today, to think about who in our lives do we want to bring healing to. Healing of body, physical illness, healing of mind, mental illness or addiction, or even healing of spirit, people that we know in our lives or maybe in ourselves that are lacking direction and purpose and connection. And want to invite people to say the names, and then we'll sing together this prayer for healing. You can just say them out loud.
May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach imotzeinu mekor bracha lavotzeinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Refuah Shlema. Aleinu is on page 64, and we're going to do a little mashup, a melody by Matisyahu, who has a bit of the spirit of the Aleinu prayer in this song one day, and then we'll be doing the last lines of the Aleinu on page 64 together.
One day, one day, one day. Yeah, Lois. One day, one day, one day. Sometimes I lay under the moon. I thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I'm here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There will be no wars and our children will play. One day, one day, one day. One day, one day, one
seated. Mourner's Kaddish is on page 73. And if I say the name of your loved one, please stand in honor of your connection. We're in the Shloshim period for Leon Silverstone, father of our member Samantha Zidbeck. Howard Sidney Slusher, father of our member Jennifer Henderson. We're commemorating the falling yahrzeit. If you also hear the name of your loved one and you're in your home online, please stand in recognition. Betty Josephson, Olga Karianinen, Arthur Kaufman, Max Kerr, Neil Kirshner, David Knight, Arthur Kruger, Dr. Paul Kushner, Phyllis Ledeen, Rabbi Harry Levenberg, Celia Skolnick-Levine, Vigil Koslov Lisak, Celia Milchecker, Ruth Roman, Werner Roman, Marty Rothman, Marion Schlesinger, Dorothy Schulman, Jacob Schwartz, Marshall Schwid, Dr. Harris Joel Shapiro, Morris Stevens, Isidore Weinberg, William Yates, Arnold Yavitt, Bessie Zarambi. Is there anybody else that we're saying Kaddish for? Thank you. Thank you. You may stand or sit according to your custom for Mourner's Kaddish, page 73. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shemei dekudisha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiram be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha. May their memories be for blessing. You may be seated.
Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel,
are here for the first time or the first or second time, would you just stand so that we can acknowledge and recognize you and applaud your great choice to be here tonight.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you
Shabbat
for joining
Shalom.
us.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And could we also have, if you are on a member of our board of trustees, would you also stand so that we can acknowledge who you are as our leaders of our synagogue? And if you have any questions, you can not only approach Cantor Young or myself afterwards, but also anybody that you see here. Thank you, guys. So just a few announcements. Join us for Torah study every Saturday on Zoom at 9 a.m. And you can find it, the Zoom link on our temple website or Friday email. And tomorrow morning, you can join us at 9:15 a.m. in person in the chapel or on Zoom for a Saturday Shabbat service, followed by a Kiddush luncheon. Or you can celebrate with Isabella Sellen and her family in the sanctuary for a Reform Shabbat service, also with lunch afterwards. Our Welcome Back First Friday Shabbat Festival begins on Friday, September 2nd. So again, we're going to continue First Fridays, no matter what, having outside services, but the festival starts. And if you haven't experienced that, it's awesome. High Holy Day tickets and information will be mailed soon to all who have renewed their membership. You can renew your membership on the temple website or call the temple office for assistance. And just a few upcoming events. Please join us for Community Tisha B'Av programs starting tomorrow night, August 6th at 7:30 p.m. for a film and discussion that will be online on Zoom. You can join us on Zoom or Facebook, or you can truck up to Long Beach to be in person, or Sunday, August 7th, right here in this outdoor space at 3 p.m. We're partnering with the Jewish Collaborative Orange County and the Orange County Jewish Coalition for Refugees to do a special Tisha B'Av program, Rebuilding Our Lives Anew, Tisha B'Av Experience Through the Eyes of Refugees. You can send your loved one a special card that is handmade this Rosh Hashanah and sign up for our Rosh Hashanah card making event. Registration's free on the temple website. And join us for the popular Hot August Nights on August 27th at 6 p.m. There will be a taco bar, a live band, margaritas, tequila tasting for an extra $10. Vegetarian and vegan options are available. It's an adult-only event, but it's going to be a blast end-of-the-year party. Great way to make connections and celebrate together. And then finally, if you want to start to get into the High Holy Day spirit, get your mind and heart right, please join me for a spiritual preparation for the High Holy Days program, a class, on Tuesday, August 30th at 7 p.m. It'll be here in person and also live streamed. It's now time for Isabella to lead us in Kiddush. I want to invite everybody to stand as we sanctify Shabbat. Page 75.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzeh banu v'shabbat kodsho ve'ava u'ratzon inilanu zikaron lema'aseh bereshit ki hu yom tehillah lemikra kodesh zechiyat mitzrayim kivanu v'harta v'otanu kedashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshiha ba'ava uvratzon kinhaltanu
waiting for the verdict.
the good stuff.
All right, and Motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem miharetz. Amen.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.